everyone. So this is your Friday science lesson. It's Friday, January 17th, 2025. So your warm-up, what words come to mind when you think about weather? Type or write your answer in the space below. While you're doing that, let me go over the rest of our warm-up page. In case you've forgotten, my name is Miss Smith. My email is tsmith@lsoa.org, and my number is 682-777-9474. Our class expectations, we're going to listen carefully so that everyone can learn. E, enter prepared, and stay engaged. 8, arrive on time. R, be careful of Be respectful of your learning and the learning of everyone else. And N, never, ever give up. We're going to be safe with our learning. It means no sharing outside links or personal information. Appropriate with our clothing, conversations, and backgrounds. Friendly, helpful, and encouraging at all times. And with our environment, no distracting noises on the mic, no distracting conversations in the chat, and no distracting images in the background. Remember, if other kiddos are going to get distracted, we know Miss Smith is going to get distracted. So please don't do it. With that being said, pause this recording, finish adding what words come to mind when you think about weather, and then unpause and meet me on the next slide. So today we're going to talk about the different types of weather you might come across. If I can click the link, click the page. But before we do that, you're going to watch a quick video. If it doesn't play for you within Nearpod, I will include the safe share within the link that I send out and put on your plan. So don't worry if it doesn't play for you within Nearpod. So let's go.
Last night, I checked the weather on my phone and the app said clear skies all day. But this morning, I got caught in a shower. Not the one in my bathroom, the one that comes from the sky. Curse you, faulty weather app! But I can't be too mad. Weather is crazy difficult to predict. We've already learned that the Earth's shape, its distribution of land and water, and its rotation all affect the way that wind moves around the world.
So your first question will be, which one of the following does not affect the way the wind moves around the world? A, distribution of landform. A, distribution of landform on Earth. B, Earth's rotation. C, rate of precipitation. Or D, no answer. Oh, D, that's my no answer. I'm going to go ahead and click continue on because I'm the only one here. But you'll just mark your answer whenever you do yours.
Air, water, land, and heat energy from the sun interact in really complex ways to create weather, both in your area and around the world. A cool breeze is a small local weather pattern. The jet stream, on the other hand, is part of a global cycle. Jet streams form at the boundary between different cells of rotating air, which, as you know from last time, are caused by the uneven heating of Earth's atmosphere at the equator and poles. And we talked about how jet streams are currents of fast-moving air about 10 kilometers above the Earth's surface. Think of it as a tube of ridiculously fast air whipping around the world. I mean, jet streams move, people. And since they're the boundaries between two air masses, their movement affects us a lot. Check out the weather report and you'll see jet streams front and center on the maps. If the jet stream dips down from the poles in the winter, we're in for some serious cold for a few days. But if it lifts back up, it'll be more mild. So you can see how moving air can affect the weather where you live. But what about moving water?
All right, length are currents of fast-moving air about 10 kilometers above the Earth's surface. Jet stream, breezes, hurricanes, or no answer. Remember, that one's mine. All right, so mark your answer.
Ocean currents form another kind of cycle. They transport warm water from the equator toward the poles and bring cold water from the poles back down to the tropics. Without those two movements, jet streams and ocean currents, the climate and weather conditions would stay pretty much the same, and things would get unpleasant. The equator would be incredibly hot all the time, and the poles would be unspeakably cold. In fact, a lot of the Earth would be uninhabitable. So, thank goodness for the currents. But to see how they work, let's take a look at how one region of Earth is affected by ocean currents and jet streams.
Which kind of ocean circulation system transport warm water from the tropics to the poles and brings back cold water from the poles to the equator? A. Wind-driven circulation. B. Thermal circulation. C. None of the above.
Welcome to the British Isles. Take a look at the British Isles on the globe. This group of islands is pretty far north, and so we might expect it to have a pretty cold climate. But there's something else at work here, namely the ocean current. One current in particular helps keep the British Isles warm: the Gulf Stream. This massive current pulls warm water from the equator up past Florida, then all the way up to the British Isles. Meanwhile, cold water cycles down, past the northwestern coast of Africa and back to the equator. This flow of warm water helps keep winters in the British Isles milder compared to other places that are so far north. So this place has a pretty mild climate. But what about the weather? That's where the jet streams come in.
So, true or false, the Gulf Stream keeps the British Isles colder than other regions in the north of British Isles. True? A. B. False. Mark, you're on stuff.
Jet streams are the main way that weather systems get around, and the British Isles are particularly affected by the polar jet stream. In a typical summer, the jet stream lifts above the British Isles, closer to the North Pole, creating hot and dry conditions, with an average temperature between 16 and 21 degrees Celsius. But in one 3-year spell, from 2007 to 2009, the jet stream actually ran unusually far to the south, which made for really cool, wet summers. Now, if the jet stream is sitting right on top of the Isles, that's when you get some interesting weather systems. Because when two masses of air, each with different temperature and pressure, meet, they don't mix, they clash. This is called a front. When a mass of cold air moves into a mass of warm air, it's called a cold front. The warm air is forced to quickly rise, causing heavy rains, hail, thunder, and lightning. A warm front, on the other hand, generally brings clear weather, but some serious humidity. The British Isles have such variable weather because they're at the center of some very different air masses. Wet and cold air is coming down from the polar regions, while wet and warm air moves in from the southwest. Meanwhile, hot and dry air pushes up from the southeast, and more dry air comes in from the east. These fronts cause major weather events, but they're difficult to predict.
What are the differences between a warm front and a cold front? Sorry about that.
As we've learned, the jet stream isn't a straight line. It's a wiggly, wavy band that boogies its way around the Earth. And while the deep ocean currents tend to flow in a more orderly way, the surface currents are at the whims of the wind, moving in strange and nearly unpredictable patterns day to day. As the air interacts with land and water, exchanging heat and moisture, it forms high and low pressure zones, in turn forming weather systems.
True or false? Air interacts with land and water, exchanging heat and moisture, forming high and low pressure zones, in turn forming weather systems. A. True. B. False.
So, Earth is complex. We've got deep ocean currents, crazy fast jet streams, cold fronts and warm fronts, and sea breezes too. So it's probably a lot to ask of my weather app to get the forecast right every single time. Sorry for yelling at you, phone.
All right. What is one question you still have about changes in the weather system? So you can write your question there. So directions, look at the picture and read each card, choose the correct answer. So you will do each of these activities, look at each of the questions, read the questions on your own and mark your answer. So what kind of weather is this? What kind of weather is this? You're going to do that for each of these. What kind of weather is this? You're going to do that for the remaining, give me 1 second, one of these. And then you have this activity. So the activity, Mildred is big and Mildred. So choose 3 weather, 1 second. So choose 3 weather instruments from the word bank and draw an illustration of each weather instrument and write a statement or sentence explaining how each is used in gathering weather data and making forecasts. So you have an anemometer, a barometer, a weather gauge, a rain gauge, a thermometer, and a wind vane. So if you need to use your dictionary, you can. We know pretty much everyone should know what a rain gauge is, a thermometer, and a wind vane is. But if you need to look up an anemometer and a barometer, you can. You only need to find 3. So you should know what a rain gauge is and a thermometer and a wind vane. And then you're going to write your sentence in the instrument side and then illustrate or draw the instruments here. And with that, check for understanding. I can name the different types of weather. Yes, mostly, not at all. And then you are done, my friend. Make sure you are completing all of your work in the OLS. You have done your ELA TFAR. Get it done. Log into IXL. Complete your snapshot. If you complete your snapshot, do some activities in there. Anything else? You don't have school on Monday, MLK Day. I'll see you on Tuesday. Miss you already. Love you all. Hasta la costa. Bye.